Hello, I want to welcome everybody to tonight's call. We are in week 3. We are moving right along here. I can't believe it's already 3 weeks into this. We only have 2 more weeks left. So it's really exciting. Everybody's doing really good. Again, I've said this in the past. I say it all the time. And I'm going to say it again for those of you who are participating inside of the group, talking with each other and being more communicative. I don't know what it is. I think it's that sense of community that it gives you more accountability, but those are the people I always see have the best results. So make sure that you are staying involved and staying on top of it, and staying on top of the group, the threads. I know sometimes there's a lot and I'll go through and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like 4 threads that I haven't looked at yet. So just get to know one another. Everybody's great. If you haven't yet jumped in there, make sure that you do. Everyone's really nice. There's 3 girls in there that I specifically asked from the last group to be in this group because they were such big catalysts and they had a great experience. So, and I have them in there so that you can also lean on those people. So make sure that you are staying involved. It will really benefit you. Before I get into what we're going to be talking about tonight, I want to do a couple house cleaning things. I did send out last night the week 3 workouts. It should have all the links this time, working links. I don't know what happened yesterday. I wrote the email, put the link in there, or I actually did it the day before. Put the link in there and I must have refreshed my page or something and I don't know why it didn't attach. So anyways, I got it to you all yesterday. So today you should have done a low carb day and upper body. And we are getting to the point where you're going to start feeling the workouts and feeling the consistency of what you're doing. And it's going to probably cause you to want to burn out or stop or not keep going. So that's why I gave you the double rest day this past week in hopes that you took advantage of it and you're ready to kill it the next few weeks that we have together, okay? But I'm really excited to talk about intermittent fasting tonight. And one last thing before I get into that, tomorrow is Thursday, which means check-ins are beginning to be due. Remember, they are due by 10 a.m. on Friday. If I do not receive your check-in, you do not receive any feedback because I don't have anything to give you feedback on. Make sure you are asking questions. There is no question that is too small. Remember, even if you don't think it's relevant or you could just Google it, please ask me anyways. That way it's coming from a source that you trust and you're not having to go on the endless holes of Google to find the answer. But that's all I really have as far as house cleaning goes. I'm going to talk about intermittent fasting tonight. It's going to be short and sweet. Don't worry about taking notes because I actually have a PDF that I'm going to send all of you as well. I'll send it out to you. Give me 1 second. I'm seeing that people can't get on the call for some reason. I'm going to try to send out another link really quick. Okay. I sent out another link. If you miss it, you can. I always post the replay, so hopefully you can catch that. But tonight we're talking about intermittent fasting. If you haven't heard of it, I'm going to talk about what it is in a second, but I want you to start thinking about incorporating intermittent fasting. But before you start doing that, I want you to understand that it is a choice and it is not something I am making mandatory for you to be doing as a part of this program. It is a slightly more advanced technique that you can use in assistance to your fat loss, but I don't want it to be the tool for your fat loss. It is a great tool. Okay. And as I go through this and you feel it is something that you would like to begin doing, I only suggest that you make sure you are comfortable with first counting macros before you start adding in other things to the foundation that I am trying to set up for you with your macros and carb cycling, okay? So please make sure that you're comfortable with counting macros first before you decide that you want to go down the intermittent fasting route. So what is intermittent fasting? And as simple as I can possibly put it, it is cycling between periods of eating and not eating. And it isn't something that you can replace with eating well. So it isn't a diet plan, but it is another tool that can be added to your current routine, just like we are using carb cycling as a tool, okay? But if you wanted to make it extremely simple, you didn't have to carb cycle. You don't have to do anything except count macros. But carb cycling, I think, is a very efficient and effective tool, which is why I make it a mandatory thing for you to use during this program. However, intermittent fasting isn't always for everyone, so that's why I don't make it a mandatory thing. Intermittent fasting is becoming more popular with people, but it is still a new concept. And so there isn't a ton, there's a lot of research on it, but it's not like other research that is out there. So as far as science goes, but it has been around for a really long time, and it's very popular in many religions. So, I'm not sure if it's like a science religion thing, but for whatever reason, science hasn't looked into it, but it's been used in religions for a very long time. And there are a lot of different fasting methods that are out there, and there isn't just one right way, but I'm going to share with you the methods that I personally coach on. And if you would like to further research them on your own, you're more than welcome to do that. So what is happening during the fasting phase? Your body is essentially being forced to use fat stores as fuel. And when we eat, our body is using glucose, which is sugar, as its main source of energy, and will store whatever's left over as glycogen into your muscles and liver. And then when you're not giving your body a steady stream of glucose, your body will begin to break down the glycogen for fuel. And once that is gone, your body's going to start looking for other sources of energy, such as fat cells. Now, it isn't guaranteed that your body will use those fat cells. It could use muscle cells, which is also why I don't recommend certain types of certain methods of fasting, but I can get into that a little bit later. So why would you choose to use intermittent fasting? And again, remember, I am just giving you all of the options out there. And this is why you would choose it, but you don't have to use it. So why intermittent fasting? The number one reason is for weight loss. And I know that isn't very shocking to many of you out there, but weight loss is the biggest attraction in people wanting to use intermittent fasting. And it's the biggest reason I personally like it, because it is focusing on fat loss rather than total weight loss. And there is a difference there. Plain and simple, it's going to increase your energy. It promotes cellular regeneration as well. So, and that's just as it sounds, it's repairing damaged cells within the body, and it helps to inhibit cancerous growths and chronic disease development. It can minimize cravings and hunger pangs. So, intermittent fasting is helping to reset your body's glucose dependency, which is causing cravings to begin with. So a lot of people are always wanting to know, how do I get rid of cravings? Try intermittent fasting. It's one of the best ways that I know how to do that, in my opinion. And then one of the other biggest reasons to give it a go is that increases your brain function, and it can help produce a protein called brain-deprived neurotrophic factor. And I know, big words, but that not only protects the brain, but it's also brain stimulating as well. All right, so now let's get into the methods and how you personally can use them and incorporate them into your current journey. And there are many ways that you can go about doing this, and you might not find differing methods between each researcher. There's they're kind of the same out there. So I'm not going to talk about all of the methods that can and are used. I'm only going to talk about the ones that I personally use and the ones that I personally recommend to my clients as well. And I'm choosing to discuss only these because I feel that these are the most common and they are the easiest to integrate into any lifestyle. So the first one is the 12, I'm going to say 3 different sets of numbers, but it's the same method essentially. It's the 12, 12, 14, 10, 16, 8 method. What that means is you are fasting anywhere from 12 to 16 hours per day, while the remaining 8 to 12 hours, you'll be eating your recommended macros for the day. So how would you do this? You're going to first start with choosing when you'll stop eating for the day. So let's say that's at 8 p.m. And then you can choose to stop eating whenever is convenient for you, though. Maybe that's 9 or 10 p.m., whatever it is. I'm using 8 p.m. for the example. So let's say you're using 12, you're going to choose 12, 12. That means you're going to be 12 hours of fasting, 12 hours of eating. So stopping at 8 p.m., you go to sleep. You can begin eating again at 10 a.m. and then you repeat that. So most of the time you're fasting. A lot of people think it's super difficult. Most of the time that you're fasting is while you're sleeping. So that's why I really like it as well. The other one you could do is 14-10. 14 hours you're fasting, 10 hours you're eating. So stopping at 8 p.m., then you go to sleep. You can begin eating again at 10 a.m. the next day, and then you repeat. I'm sorry, the first one I think I said 10 a.m. I meant 8 a.m. It's 12 hours. So 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. is 12 hours. And then 16-8, that means you are fasting for 16 hours, and then you are only eating 8 hours of each day. So you stop eating at 8 p.m. and then you go to sleep, and then you can begin eating again at 12 p.m. the next day, and then you would repeat that. All right. So that is the 12, 12, 14, 10, 16, 8 method. That is the one I personally use. I personally like that the most. Right now I stop eating at about like 9 or 10, and I start eating again anywhere from 11 to 12. So I'm on about a 14-10 schedule personally. And it does vary day to day. The biggest thing that you want to do is be consistent with it. The next one is, the other popular one is the 5-2 method. So this is 5 days of the week you eat your normal macros, while 2 days of the week you complete a 48-hour fast, and then you return to your normal macros once the fast has been completed. One of the reasons I partnered with Isagenix is because the cleansing system Isagenix offers supports the 5-2 method. So you're completing a 2-day, 48-hour fast, but you have the added benefits of flooding your body with an herbal drink that enhances the experience, if you will, okay? So you do not need to use Isagenix products to do this. You can definitely do it on your own, but the approved fasting products will make not eating for 2 days a lot easier. Trust me on that one. So if you would like to use those products, I have attached them to the link in the PDF that I'm going to be sending you, okay? And like I said, there are many ways that you can use intermittent fasting, but these 2 methods are, in my personal opinion, the easiest to get started with, the easiest to maintain long-term, and the only 2 that I actually coach on, and the only methods that I personally use. There is other methods out there. It's called OMAD, 1 meal a day. So you literally fast all day long and you eat 1 meal a day. Like, no, I can't be doing that. I need to be eating all day. So that's why I say I only teach on these 2 things. But again, if you want to go out and do your own research on the other methods out there, feel free. If you'd like me to point you in a direction, I can do that. But I only recommend these 2. I think they're easiest and easiest to maintain long-term as well. So a few things that you can do to be successful with intermittent fasting. So while you're in your fasting window, the only things that you can consume are water, more water, black coffee, tea, and more water, okay? So if choosing the unsupported fast, in other words, not using isogenics, remember the moment you consume anything with calories is the moment your fast stops, okay? During your awake fasting hours, more than likely it's going to be a few hours in the morning. Keep yourself busy. You can work out, working, having your coffee, take your dog on a walk, whatever it is. I suggest keeping yourself busy. Listen to your body. If you feel that you're struggling and that you might die, you can choose to either push through or you can choose to have your first meal, and that's okay. This is not meant to make you feel like you're dying. It's more important that you listen to what your body is telling you. Plus, this is it's going to be a new experience for a lot of you, so it's best to not push it. You can definitely still work out while doing this. This is how I train almost every single day, and I have for quite some time, I believe 4 years now. And it's honestly what I attribute my ability to maintain a lean physique year round. And there's new studies out that say that you don't have to eat directly post workout. And if you have a few hours left in your fast, but I recommend your workout being as close to the point in time in which you're going to be breaking your fast. Okay. So don't wake up, workout, and then you still have 5 hours of your fast left, because the workout's going to get your metabolism going and you're going to be hungry. So I would try to do the workout as close to the point you're going to break that fast as possible. What I do, I work out, and then right afterwards I have my post-workout shake. That's when I break my fast and I start on my macros for the day. And then remember that you have the ability to change your eating window to whenever you'd like. Whatever your eating and fasting window is, just do your best to be consistent with whatever you choose from day to day. That's where you're going to get those results from. So don't one day just do 8 hours and the next day is 14. The next one you only could fast for 6 hours and the next day is 24. That's not what you want to do. If you want to start with 12, make sure you're hitting 12 fasting hours every single day. Okay. Be consistent. The next thing that you're going to do, or the next biggest tip I can give you, is to not freak out. Okay. There isn't any hard and fast rules to this. And if you want to eat a pancake breakfast with your family one morning, go ahead and do it. If you start getting anxious over the small potatoes, you need to take a really big, deep breath, exhale, and tell yourself to calm down. Okay. There is no need to stress over this. So it kind of goes against what I just said about being consistent, but I mean, again, this is a lifestyle, and the point, we want to be able to incorporate our life into our diet. So, if that pancake breakfast comes up, enjoy it. And then the last thing, don't expect miracles. Yes, intermittent fasting is an excellent tool to have in your arsenal against fat loss, but you need to remember that it is one small piece to the bigger picture. Okay. It's still important that you track your macros, you eat the foods that fit those macros. I hope you're choosing nutrient dense foods and that you are exercising. Okay. Those are going to be being consistent with those is going to benefit you overall over anything else that I could ever give you. So for the most part, intermittent fasting, it is pretty simple. And as long as you're consistent over time, you're going to have great results with it. And that is really all that I have for you on intermittent fasting. I didn't want to go too much into detail because I am going to be sending out a PDF to you so that you have all of this information. That's why I said you didn't have to take notes either. It'll be right at your fingertips, and I made it so that you could either download it directly to your phone if you have an iPhone. If you have an Android, I'm assuming you can download it to that, but I'm not familiar with an Android. If not, you can download it to your computer. So nobody sent in questions to the group chat or to me personally. So that can only tell me that I am explaining things well. But otherwise, can in fact be ongoing indefinitely? Yes, every single day. Yeah, you can do this every single day. Not the 24 or 48 hour ones, but the other methods that I talked about, the 12, 12, 14, 10, 16, 16.8 can be used every single day indefinitely. That is definitely a thing. So yeah, if there aren't any, do you have any other questions? Okay. All right. Well, if you remember, just message me so I can answer in the group chat, or just ask in the group chat because somebody else might know the answer as well. I put Allie, Nikki, and Alyssa in there to help with all of that. So if there aren't any other questions, that is all I have for you. Remember, we have check-ins on tomorrow. So they're due by Friday at 10 a.m. I'll send out the Google form. Actually, I'm going to post it in the group, the Google form for the check-in. And then I will be emailing you the PDF for intermittent fasting. And I hope that you all enjoy it. And if you have any questions on it, as always, do not hesitate to reach out and ask. And I hope that you all have a really good night.